Hello, health coaches, and welcome back for another episode of our very special Get Started series. This has been really cool because instead of just hearing from me during these episodes, you're hearing from other experts in the field of health coaching, health, and wellness. And today, Nathalie Garcia is with us. Nathalie is from Practice Better. She's the co-founder of Practice Better, and actually has been in the field herself. So let me just pass it to you real quick, Nathalie. Tell everyone a little bit about yourself, and thank you for being here.
Hi everyone. Thank you, Michelle. I love any opportunity we have to chat with your community. Your community is so engaging, and you do such a great job at supporting them. So I love being here. As Michelle said, I am Nathalie Garcia. I'm co-founder and CEO of Practice Better. I come from a background of health and wellness as well, and that's where Practice Better was born from. So basically, quick version of this is when I started practicing, I was just inundated in work. And I don't know who can relate. Let us know if you can. But whether you're like starting with your first client or your 100th client, it just it didn't seem to get easier. I was like, oh my gosh, every new client that came in was like bittersweet. I'm like, yes, this is so exciting. Oh my gosh, so much more work.
Right.
So basically, we built a practice management platform called Practice Better that just helps you streamline your work, helps it easier for you to keep clients accountable, helps them have everything that they need at their fingertips. So that's how Practice Better was born.
Amazing. And Nathalie just happens to be wearing a shirt that is the same color as the Practice Better platform, which I love. You're so on brand. Did you do it on purpose?
Yes, of course.
Of course you did. Of course you did. Very nice. Okay, good. So, one thing that I have loved about using Practice Better, just in general, like with my coaching, I agree with you. It's kind of like you get a new client and you're like, great. And then you're like, I'm so busy. I barely have time to service this client. So we need to make it easier. And the other thing that we need to do is, you mentioned accountability. We need to make sure that our clients stay engaged with the process. And that can be tricky sometimes. So I thought we could start there, just from like your personal experience when you were, still working in the field, and also with like all the practitioners that you work with now. What are some of the sticking points where we lose that client engagement?
Oh man, there are a lot of points. There are a lot of points, to be honest with you, because the problem, you think about it, and as much as health and wellness might feel really natural to everyone listening right now, because you've gone through the training, you're living it, you're breathing it, and we're like, it's so easy to drink more water. It's so easy to get more sleep. It's so easy, right? These things that just now are so normal to us are not necessarily normal and easy to the people coming to see you. So if you say to someone who's drinking 1 glass of water a day, hey, drink 8 glasses of water a day, or even drink 5, right? They're going to be like, what? Right. And we think that it might be an easy thing, but you can't really move on to something bigger and to the next step until you have that first step down. So they really end up needing a lot of like hand holding. And
Yes, and that's what's so awesome about having a health coach is that we can provide that deeper level of support that they're not going to get from their 10-minute visit with their doctor, right? So this is a real opportunity to like to go deep, to really
right.
become part of our clients' lives. Okay. So
Yeah.
one thing would be to say you need to drink more water, and the client's like, yeah, uh-huh, and they never do it. And the other thing would be
Well,
actually following, like, how would you do
yeah.
that?
How do
Following
you
up
follow
every
up with them?
day, following up once a week.
Well, that's just it. Do you want to say to them, hey, like, do you want to check in with them every day? Hey, how are you doing on this? Or do you want them to be messaging you every day? Do you want to say have like this open door policy where they can contact you 24/7? That's also not sustainable. And we've got to think like we go into this work because we truly want to help them make these changes in their lives. We're so invested in them. We have to hold this space for them, right? But that's really, to be honest, it could be quite exhausting. right?
When we offer, like a lot of coaches, and I have done this too, we offer like unlimited email support between sessions or text support. And then I don't know about you guys, but I kind of cross my fingers and hope that they don't actually text me that often,
Exactly.
because like that's a lot of extra time and you have to
It is.
remember to get back to them. And it's just a whole other layer.
You've got
So
lives.
yeah, we have to balance. Like, yes, we want to
Right.
hold our clients accountable and we need to keep them engaged. And also we cannot be giving them 30 hours a week.
For the price of 1 hour
That's
or for
right.
2 hours, right? So these are
That's right.
all things that you have to think about is like, how much support do they need to make the changes that you guys are working on together, right? And then you multiply that by how many clients you want, right? And you think, I can't do this by myself. It's just impossible. So you've got to get creative with thinking about how you're going to prompt them, how you're going to be in their ear on a regular basis and show up and show them that you're invested and that you're paying attention and that you want them to succeed, but in a way that's not going to just completely obliterate your ability to work on anything other than that one client.
Okay, so let's just talk about one scenario that comes up all the time, because I'm like, where do I fall down when it comes to
Mhm.
client engagement? And here's something that happens. I'll have a client who has a certain package, a certain number of sessions they have to use in a certain period of time. We have a session or two or three, and then it's like, okay, great, book your next session. I'll see you in a couple weeks. And they book nothing. And
Mhm.
I forget because it's on them to book the next session, right? So
Right.
sometimes weeks go by and I think, well, on one hand, if they're not interested in booking, that's on them.
Right.
The package is going to expire. But on the other hand, it's like, well, maybe I should be following up, but how often and how do I remind myself to do that? So that is one problem that I definitely encounter.
Yeah, so now that's pretty easy. So using the platform, now you can actually automatically generate a task in conjunction to that booking. So you can remind them. So for example, let's say they book a session with you for um, let's say 2 weeks from now. Okay. You can remind them after that session. So you can say like time of period after to book again. You don't have to wait the 2 weeks. And another really great way is to just actually get them to book right then and there before they leave.
Of
But if
course.
that's not an option for them because they got to check their schedule, they got to chat with their partner, whatever the case might be, you could set a task for them to do that. So then
Interesting.
either you do it via an automation or you just actually go in and during your session, so you're not taking time to do this outside of your sessions, you go in and create a task and say, book your follow-up appointment, remind them in a week at this time.
Okay, so this is what's so funny about Practice Better. I've been using Practice Better for like, I don't know, 5 years, and I still probably only use like 30% of the features that you guys have because I'm always learning new stuff. So I'm totally going to figure that out because it's always that thing. Oh, let's book your next session. Oh, I don't know when I'm free. Oh, okay, I'll send you a link, and then crickets.
Yes. Yeah,
Also, I would really
absolutely.
love to be able to, maybe there's a way to do this, like automate something that says your package is about to expire.
Yeah,
Like that, because that comes up, right? And you
right.
can't have a client who signs up today and a year and a half from now, they're still trying to book their last session.
Yeah, that doesn't work very well either. But
Okay.
yeah, setting something up like a task, whether that task is for now, you can have the task be for them so that they can just kind of own it themselves and they go in and they book the appointment. Or you can set the task for yourself. I mean, definitely not as easy as just having them book themselves. But if you are the one booking, in some instances, that's what happens in practices. Some people prefer to do the bookings themselves. Then you can set the reminder for you. You can create a task for yourself and say, don't forget to, contact Jenny to rebook or whatever.
Right. I also just want to point out for everybody listening, if you do hear a little baby crying in the background, good Lord, it is not mine. It is Natalie's.
That's not the special surprise today, right?
No. Oh, heck no. But we love to hear little babies in the background. And I know that not most, but a lot of health coaches are in their own homes trying to do work and have kids in the background. So bless all of us.
Yeah.
We're all making it work.
We all just got to roll with it.
Correct. All right. So good. So that's one area of engagement, just getting the darn appointment on the books. That is a big one.
Agreed.
What other specific scenarios do you see coming up?
Well, I think that another place that we can do a better job at engaging with some people might be, I think I think, okay, what I always try to do is like, where do you have to engage, and where can you engage without engaging? Kind of
Ooh, I
sounds weird,
like it.
right?
I like
Yeah.
it. Tell me more.
Yeah. So for example, if you're using Practice Better, and we do have a mobile app. So in the mobile app that can be used for you as a practitioner or with your clients. So introducing that as part of the tools that you're going to work with to help them along their journey. So for example, and you just let them know when you update something in the app or on the website, I'm notified automatically, so that they know that when they're interacting with the app, they're interacting with you. And then depending on, so that's a good first step. If you want to add kind of low touch points, but something that's really easy to do, let's say they're engaging with the food tracking. They're telling you, hey, I ate this, give them a thumbs up, right? So something short and sweet. You don't need to get into everything, but it's a nice, easy way that you can acknowledge you saw what they did a good job, or they could work on something, and then you walk away. You can come back and you can talk about it a little bit more in your actual sessions, but you can tell them, hey, every time you take out your mobile app and you engage with it and you tell me what you're eating, so let them know they're telling you what they're eating. They're telling you how much they're sleeping. It's not they're just telling the app, they're telling you. So you get that information. So that allows them to engage in a different type of way.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because we get a lot of questions inside of our Facebook group about, does anybody know of an app that lets our client track their food? I want to see what they're eating, maybe upload a picture, et cetera, et cetera. Honestly, this falls into that category of things that I have not even used Practice Better for, but I know it exists. So tell me why I should be using it, and tell everybody a little bit more about that feature, because I think it's a good one.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, you're all going to practice differently again. So there's a bit of customizability there. But what you're going to do is you give your clients access to the mobile app, or they can log in through the website as well. If they're not using, their mobile device for tracking, they can tell you what they ate. Like Michelle said, they can type it in. They can tell you, I can say, I ate a tuna fish sandwich, like literally type in what they ate in their own words. They can look into into our nutrition database, so that they can actually select the foods, tell you how many grams or ounces or cups or whatever the measurement might be, and actually get the nutritional breakdown of that food. Also, you can disable that if you don't want them to see that. Or they can take a photo, right? Because every person's going to probably want to tell you what they're doing differently. There's also an activity tracker. So if you're really focusing on getting them moving, they can go into the activity tracker and tell you how much they're moving in a day. So now you can keep track of that. Maybe you guys made a goal together. They're going to get out and move 5 days a week. So now you can see that. And when they come back to your session, this is a big piece. When they come back to your session, they're not they're not scratching their head saying, oh, what did I do over the last 2 weeks? Because then I know this is maybe not quite where we were going with this conversation, but that part of it, like that guesswork, doesn't help you do your job, right? Now you're working and trying to guide them with incomplete information.
True. They do. You could spend a whole session saying, well, maybe this and maybe that, or maybe next time it'll be like this. Yeah. Okay. So that's really cool. And I can't tell you how many times someone's asking about that inside of our group. Can they take a picture? Can they do this? And I love that you can disable the calorie counts or whatever if you don't want to be getting into that, or if it's a trigger for your client.
Right.
That feature alone is super, super valuable. You guys, literally, I love having Nathalie here, because she just makes it all sound so doable. Every time there's a new piece of technology, there's going to be like a little bit of a learning curve. So when I started using Practice Better, it's like, okay, I'm going to use it it does everything, by the way. It does all your client management. So your scheduling, your, cancellations and rescheduling, your payments, your payment plans. I think I just started with the scheduling. Like, let me just use it as a scheduler. Okay, I got that. Now let me start using it to accept payments. Okay, now I got that. So I keep kind of like creeping into more and more of the features. I'm just about to run my first online program using the platform. Yeah, so that's super cool. And I use the Messenger a lot, because I don't really want people sending me their lab tests and
Mhm.
their personal information through my Gmail or text message. I want them to send it through a secure platform, like Practice Better, so that, you know, there's no chance that anybody else is going to get their eyes on that info. I think that makes them feel more secure and I feel better about it. So anyway, there's so many different things we can be doing, but I really need to get into this whole food tracking and activity tracking.
And there's a sleep tracker in there as well. They can even connect their Fitbits. Um, yeah,
Lots of
there's
touch points. So they feel like there's somebody kind of holding their hand, even when you, as the coach, are fast asleep on the other side, right? Getting our beauty rest while our client is still going ahead and tracking whatever it is that they're doing and communicating with us in a way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's such an important piece because, again, like I said, we get into this field because we want to help and we want them to understand that, right? But we also need to give them the tools that they're going to be able to do it on their own. So you're there to support them, you're there to offer feedback as needed, right? But they're also kind of driving the bus. So you
I
give
love
them
that.
some liberties, right? And you jump in when you need to. So I always think about like, I'm this person who love to like audit my life. I like to audit my work. I love to audit my day. Like this is what I just love this. Like so if you kind of map out all the different things that you do with a client and you think about how many times would you like to touch base with them? Like how many times you think that they should have, you know, some sort of contact or interaction with you as a really good starting point. And then you can start figuring out which parts of those can be automated. So the person feels, they feel seen, they feel important, they feel like you're invested. And then, but they may not necessarily need you to call them, right? It doesn't have to be very labor intensive on your end. And then so those pieces be automated. And then which are the pieces that are really crucial that it's actually you talking to them, you sending them a message, something that's really truly coming from you. I think it's a really great place because as you get further and further into your practice, you're going to realize the more you want to start seeing more people, the more you're going to have a system in place that's going to make it easier for you to do that. Because otherwise, you're just going to be limiting how many people you can help and also limiting, and I know this is like not always the fun topic, but limiting your potential income because these pieces, as important as they are, they can be very time consuming.
Yeah, of course. Now I'm thinking of a client that I had a while ago, who had some great results, right? She was real. She's like a client that I didn't have to stay on top of. She was really on top of it. She was a real go-getter, you know. And sometimes we're blessed with those, and sometimes
Mhm.
not so much. But anyway, because she was so very engaged, she got amazing results, and I will always remember her because she was just such a character. And then she referred me to like 12 of her friends, you know. And this is the beautiful thing because most health coaches, you guys, I kind of like the marketing stuff, right? Because I used to work in advertising. That's kind of my jam. But I know for most of you guys, you don't like the marketing stuff, right? It's like your least favorite thing. So if we can have really great results with our clients, it's going to lead to those referrals. And if one client can turn into two, and two clients can turn into 4 or 6, suddenly your practice is going to fill without having to do so much heavy marketing. So I'm curious, Natalie, with health coaches inside the Practice Better community, like what are some successes that are happening? What are some stories that you hear about? Do you have any anecdotes for us? Because I think it's nice to hear what other coaches are up to.
Yeah, so I think a big thing that's been happening right now is just we get the feedback all the time of like practitioners saying, "Hey, like I look okay, so this is a small thing, but sometimes just like coming to us and saying like, "Hey, oh my gosh, I feel so much more professional, so much more professional, so much so that I was able to raise my prices and my clients didn't change like they didn't like change their minds about working with me," sort of thing.
Hmm.
That's a really big one. Just the fact that you feel like that professional, that you feel like you're putting your foot forward as a professional, and now you feel like you can charge professional prices. I mean, you were always a professional, but right? But to feel like you're offering almost a better service now, that's really cool. To be able to just reach more people, now they're seeing these really great options to run like hybrid programs, hybrid practices. So now clients are not clients, but practitioners telling us that, you know, hey, I don't have to work one-to-one anymore, but I don't have to go only group. So being able to do both of those at the same time in one single program, because some people don't want to do only one of those. But then we get the feedback from our users, or our users' clients, so the practitioners' clients, which, we don't always have that much interaction with their clients, but we get those clients coming to us, and those are like pretty special when they take the time to reach out to the company that, created the product.
Wow.
And they say, I have to tell you, this has been the best platform I've been using. It makes it so much easier. I have everything I need. And we're like, wow, that really probably took a lot of effort on their part to kind of reach out to us and tell us that. So it's really gratifying to hear from practitioners how much time we've given them back, how much flexibility we've given them into like how they want to run their business. Because as we saw in this past year, where all of a sudden everyone was scrambling, if you weren't already online, you're scrambling to figure out, how do I get online? Even how do I expand the services I was offering online? So it's really amazing to see people kind of being able to take the ownership back and have like more options. But it's really, really, really cool to hear from their clients telling us like, wow, this has made it so much easier.
I'm really surprised. Be like one of my clients on their end saying, "What is this platform Michelle's been using? Let me reach out to them." Like,
Yes.
but they do that. Wow.
Yes. I mean, I'm not saying it's not saying every day, but it happens more than I would have ever thought. And it's really special. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, because we know it's working on the practitioner side. I mean, we get feedback from practitioners that their clients are loving it, but the amount of effort the client had to put in to let us know that it's working for them is pretty cool.
That is really cool. And I just wanted to circle back on the thing you said about running hybrid programs, because that's what I'm currently in the midst of developing. And I think that a lot of coaches want to run online programs, online courses, things like that. Talk about fall off. Talk about not having engagement with any online course in any field. You're going to get huge drop off, you guys. People sign up, they do the first lesson, they never do anything else. So I like this idea of a hybrid model where I'm still able to check in one-on-one with each individual in the group, and yet I'm not repeating myself about gluten or whatever 900 times. Like they can just watch that video,
exactly.
Get the information, and then get the coaching from me in these smaller bite-sized chunks. So when we're talking about like engaging with clients, I think we all want to consider that, particularly when it comes to the online course stuff.
Yeah, I think the online course stuff is cool too, because it's so flexible, right? Like if you were thinking about, again, when we're starting to build a program, starting to build out our services, we think about, how we anticipate helping the people that are, our ideal clients. But obviously everyone needs support in different ways. Everyone engages with content differently. And also too, like, are you catching them on a day where, they're checking on the content, like your program content at the end of the day, where they're exhausted, they just can't be bothered to read something. Now they'll rather listen to a video or audio clip or something like that. So the programs give you a lot of flexibility in terms of how you want to present your content. So you can have a nice little mix of content types or mediums. So that way your clients can be engaged kind of no matter where they are in their day, if they have the time to read something, or they just have time to hear something, or even if they're just a person who's more visual. So the programs, for example, or even if you're doing protocols, like if you're making recommendations to your clients in a more organized fashion, then you have the option to be, there she goes, you have the option to be putting videos in there, putting external links, putting graphs or photos or whatever you want to do to engage them, to show them what it is that you're teaching them or the importance of something. So I think the programs is so important, and it's just gives you, again, it's all about flexibility and how you can engage people in a way that's not going to exhaust you. And you don't have to, like you said, talk about gluten again.
That's right, for the millionth time, because it does get a little old after a while. I'm going to tell you, in my first year of coaching, I was very excited to do it all. By year 12, I'm like a little tired of having the same conversation. So it's great to be able to just scale that stuff. So you guys, like I said, we get a lot of questions about food trackers. We get a lot of questions about how do I get my form signed. We get a lot of questions about what's the best payment way to accept payment. What calendar should I use? What this, what that? I mean, you could have like 20 different tools.
Yeah.
You could be paying for all of them, or you could just be paying one time a very reasonable fee. Use Practice Better to take care of all of it together. It's like a godsend. You people, I
Yeah.
need to like tell you this to your faces. So if you're interested in like unlocking this power, which clearly I still have to unlock like at least half of, but even at just half capacity, I'm still getting so much out of it. Go to healthcoachpower.com/practice, and you can use code HCPower30 to save 30% off your first 3 months. We will put that in the show notes so you don't have to memorize it. Nathalie, thank you so much for joining us today and helping us put our time and energy into what we do best instead of all the admin work.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Anytime you want to talk about making your practice any simpler, I'm your gal.
Any better.
Any better. Go practice better.
We will do that. Thanks so much. And thanks for joining us. You guys keep your eyes open because I am releasing quite a number of these Get Started series episodes. You'll see them popping up over the next few weeks with experts from all different areas of the field of health coaching and health and wellness. So I will see you next time, and I'll be back on Tuesday with our regular 2 p.m. Q&A. I'll see you then. Bye-bye.